Good morning. Today we will be learning about peripheral nerves in leprosy. So peripheral nerves include the nerves, peripheral cutaneous nerves include nerves which supply the muscles as well as the nerves which have a sensory supply. There are certain cutaneous, superficial cutaneous nerves which have only sensory supply. It is very important to know the nerve distribution as well as you should know to palpate the nerves, because you have to know whether the patient is having neuritis or is not having neuritis, because your management differs. If the patient is having neuritis, your management will change, and if this neuritis goes unnoticed, it can cause permanent disability. So here Dr. Mahika will show us how to palpate the nerves. Okay. Introductory, I should tell you something. While palpating the nerves, you should be standing in front of the patient. You should try to palpate the nerves with the palm of the fingers and not the fingertips, because if you palpate with the help of fingertips, it may cause pain. If the patient is having neuritis, it may cause little bit of pressure and it may cause pain to the patient. Therefore, try to do it with the palm of the fingers. Then you should be trying to palpate the nerves simultaneously if possible. If it is not possible to palpate the nerves simultaneously, you can do it one by one, but always compare both the sides, because when you compare, you know that which side is having more thickened nerves, which side is having less thickened nerves, and thereby you will be able to appreciate the neuritis. Okay. Then another thing is, you should know that you should try to palpate the nerve along the course of the nerve, so that if there is a thickening, whether it is a even thickening or whether it is a nodular thickening or it is a medial thickening, whether it is soft thickening, whether it is cord-like thickening, that has to be mentioned, and try to follow the course of the nerve. Right? It's very important to appreciate the neuritis. So for this you have to palpate the nerve. At least 50 patients you should be palpating to know that how the nerve is, how it is, whether the nerve is thickened or not. You can try this on the patients. If you don't have patients, you can try it on your friends or relatives, but try to palpate at least 50 times so that you get the feel of the nerve, right? And to know whether you are really palpating the nerve or whether you are palpating a tendon, what you should do, you should ask the patient. The patient will complain that there is tingling. The person, not necessarily the patient, but the person on whom you are palpating, they will complain that there is tingling when you are exactly on the nerve. If you are not on the nerve, they will not say that there is a tingling sensation. Right? So we continue with Dr. Mahika. She will demonstrate us how to palpate the nerve.
Good morning everyone. I am Dr. Mahika and here I have with me Dr. Tejas, and she will help me in showing you the demonstration of the palpation of the peripheral nerves in a patient of leprosy. So the palpation of nerves is very important, and here I will demonstrate to you as we go from top to bottom. So first I will cover the head neck face, I will move on to the upper extremities, moving on lastly to the lower extremities. Talking about head neck face, the first nerve which we will palpate is called the supraorbital nerve. As its name suggests, supraorbital nerve is located at the junction of medial 1/3 and lateral 2/3 of the supraorbital ridge. So the method of palpating is, you have to stand in front of the patient. So this is the supraorbital ridge, and at the junction of medial 1/3 and lateral 2/3, you have to palpate the nerve by a rolling action. You have to always ensure that you have to palpate in a direction perpendicular to the course of the nerve. So the supraorbital nerve goes vertically like this. So my palpation will always be perpendicular to the nerve in a rolling action. So by first you have to make the head of the patient stable using your 4 fingers. So I have stabilized the head, and now by rolling action, this is how I will palpate the supraorbital nerve. Moving on to the next nerve, which is called the supratrochlear nerve. The supratrochlear nerve is located just medial to the supraorbital nerve. So the location is same at the junction of the medial 1/3 and lateral 2/3 of supraorbital ridge. The method of palpation is also the same. First we stabilize the head, use our thumb in a rolling action manner and palpate the nerve. The next nerve is called the infraorbital nerve. As its name suggests, it's located towards the medial side of infraorbital ridge at the infraorbital foramen. So to locate the infraorbital foramen, you have to go downwards the pupillary margin. The method of palpation is by first stabilizing the head of the patient using 4 fingers, and now I will ask the patient to slightly remove a mask, please. Thank you. So this is the infraorbital ridge, and medially to the infraorbital ridge there is the infraorbital foramen. So by stabilizing the head, I will perform a rolling movement using the pulp of my fingers. So this is how we examine the infraorbital nerve. The next nerve we palpate is called the facial nerve. The facial nerve, if thickened, we can examine if there is neuritis or if there is thickening. We can examine it by palpating just 1 centimeter in front of the tragus of the ear. So first we stabilize the head of the patient and we provide a little pressure in front of the tragus. So if there is tenderness or neuritis, the patient will complain of pain. So this is how we examine facial nerve. There is one branch of facial nerve called the zygomaticotemporal nerve. As its name suggests, it's located on the zygomatic arch on the face. So this is the zygomatic arch, which is easy to locate by pointing at the high end of the cheekbones basically. So we stabilize the patient using 4 fingers, use our thumb again. The course of the zygomaticotemporal nerve is also upwards, it's going upwards. So I will palpate it by rolling perpendicular to it. After this, the next nerve we will palpate is called the greater auricular nerve. The greater auricular nerve, it passes obliquely from the lateral side to the medial side, and on its way it crosses the sternocleidomastoid muscle. All of you know the sternocleidomastoid muscle is located on the lateral sides of our neck, and the first step we have to do to palpate this nerve is ask the patient to look completely towards one side. So I will ask the patient to look completely at one side, but we have to make sure that we make the muscle, the sternocleidomastoid belly should become prominent. So as you can see, there is a protuberance here. This is the prominent sternocleidomastoid. If the greater auricular nerve is thickened, it is better seen than it is felt. So you will most likely see it passing obliquely from lateral side to the medial side, and on its way it will cross the sternocleidomastoid. You can also palpate it by rolling your thumb. You can do the same procedure on the opposite side for palpating the nerve of opposite end. So again I will ask the patient to look completely towards the opposite side, and the sternocleidomastoid muscle should become prominent. You can palpate it by rolling action, and also it can be seen better if it is thickened.
So this greater auricular nerve, which she has mentioned, that it crosses the sternocleidomastoid. Sometimes this is very prominent in persons who are laborers or who carry heavy weight on their head. So seeing a thickened greater auricular nerve does not every time means that the patient is having abscess. It can be seen in patients who are carrying heavy weights.
The last nerve of head, neck, face region is called the supraclavicular nerve. The clavicular nerve is present as 3 sets: the supraclavicular, the clavicular, and the infraclavicular nerve. To palpate, it is easy to palpate the supraclavicular nerve. So the location where we palpate is the junction of medial 1/3 and lateral 2/3 of the clavicle. The clavicle is also commonly called the collarbone. So to palpate it, we have to stand in front of the patient, and we have to again perform rolling action using our fingertip, the pulp of our thumbs. So I stabilize the patient by placing my fingers on the shoulder, and I will palpate using a rolling action. The course of the clavicular nerve goes from below to upwards like this. So when I palpate, I have to go perpendicular to the nerve, the course of the nerve. So we are done with the nerves of the head, neck, face region. Moving on to the next part, we go and see how to palpate the nerves of the upper extremities. The first nerve which we will palpate is called the radial nerve. Radial nerve, like its name suggests, it's located in the radial groove. The radial groove is also called as the spiral groove. The location of spiral groove is in the posterior aspect of humerus. It is located at the point of insertion of the deltoid muscle. It's located almost in the middle half of the posterior surface of humerus, of the shaft of humerus. So the method of palpating this nerve is, first I will use my right hand to hold the right hand of the patient in a shaking hand manner. The elbow should be flexed at 90 degree, and we must always ask the patient to relax. The hand should not be tight. So after asking the patient to relax and maintaining this posture, I will use rolling action using my 4 fingers from behind to upwards. I have to locate the spiral groove, posterior surface of middle shaft of humerus, just below the deltoid insertion. So I have kept my thumb on the anterior surface, and using the 4 fingers, I will go from behind upwards in a rolling action manner. You will be able to see in this hand. For the left hand, so after stabilizing, from behind to forwards. So this is the radial nerve. You must always ask the patient if he is feeling any tingling in his hands, which will help you understand or be confident that what you are palpating is actually a nerve and not just a tendon. The next nerve is called the ulnar nerve. Ulnar nerve is located just behind the posterior surface of elbow, behind the elbow joint. The location is at the olecranon fossa and next to the medial epicondyle of humerus. So the position is similar in the shaking hand manner. The hand should be relaxed and the elbow is flexed at 90 degree. So I put my thumb on the anterior surface of the shaft of humerus just at the inferior end, and I will use the 4 fingers. I will use first my little finger and I will try to locate where is the ulnar nerve. After locating it with my little finger, I will use the rest of my fingers to palpate it. The movement again is rolling action and it will go from behind to upwards.
First I will be palpating the medial epicondyle,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
then the olecranon process.
Yes, ma'am.
And in between the olecranon process and the medial epicondyle, we will be palpating the
Ulnar
ulnar
nerve.
nerve in the ulnar groove.
Yes. For the opposite hand, first I will locate the medial epicondyle. So this was the palpation of the ulnar nerve. Moving on to the next nerve, it's called the radial cutaneous
Do you
nerve.
have any tingling sensation? Yes. So she was palpating the nerve correctly because they just showed that she had some tingling sensation in the hand. Okay.
The next nerve is called the radial cutaneous nerve. It is located quite superficially, and the way to examine it is, first we have to ask the patient the point of location for palpation of this nerve is the anatomical snuff box. So we ask the patient, first we stabilize the hand using our opposite hand. So right hand is stabilized by my right hand. I will stand in front of the patient and I will ask the patient to hyperextend his thumb. So I have asked Tejas to hyperextend her thumb, and by hyperextension, you will see it in this hand. So there is a depression here felt, which is called the anatomical snuff box. So anatomical snuff box is the point of location where we will palpate the radial cutaneous nerve. So this is a prominent site and easy to identify also. It is located just lateral to the extensor pollicis longus tendon. So after stabilizing the hand, I will use my index finger to palpate the nerve in a rolling action manner exactly in the anatomical snuff box. Are you feeling a tingling sensation? So the last nerve for upper extremity is called the median nerve. The median nerve is located on the medial surface of our forearm, and it is located just below the flexor retinaculum. So first, by asking the patient to flex, the flexor retinaculum, flexing the wrist joint, the flexor retinaculum will become prominent over here. So we have to go just behind the flexor retinaculum, and you have to be aware that median nerve is a deep nerve. So palpation of median nerve is not very easy, and you have to go a little deep. You have to do a little deep palpation to feel it. So this is the flexor retinaculum, and I will palpate just behind it.
Which are the tendons which you are making prominent?
Ma'am, over here the flexor digitorum longus, the flexor digitorum brevis, they will get prominent. The flexor digitorum profundus is a deep muscle, so that will not get prominent. So this is the way to palpate for the median nerve, but it requires deep palpation. So we are done with the upper extremity nerves. Moving on to the last bit, that is the lower extremity nerves. The first set of nerves which we will examine in lower extremity is they called the anterior cutaneous nerves of thigh. As its name, they are located on the anterior surface of the thigh. So for that, the patient can be either in a sitting position or can also be in a lying down position. Ideally, you should always expose the patients completely so you get a better view of all the nerves, which you can see as best as possible. So here I will just examine how to do it. So this is the anterior surface of thigh, and the nerves, they pass obliquely over the thighs. So by rolling action using your fingers, you will palpate the nerves, and if it is thickened, you will come to know. So by rolling action, and these nerves are also better seen. So we can just roll our fingers over the thigh, and you will be able to check for the anterior cutaneous nerves. There are sets of 3 nerves, and they are easy to see if they are enlarged. The next nerve which we will see for is called the lateral popliteal nerve. So lateral popliteal nerve, the method to examine is, first we have to locate the head of the fibula. So head of fibula is located in the posterior aspect of our knee joint. So first we will stabilize the patient's knee, especially the patella, using our thumbs, and then in the posterior aspect we will first locate the head of the fibula. This nerve is located in the neck of the fibula. So we can't locate the neck, but we can locate the head. So after locating the head, we will move slightly downwards and we will get the neck of the fibula where this nerve is located. We have to perform rolling action movements again from behind to forwards, and then we will be able to palpate the nerve properly. So over here, you have to stand in front of the patient. The important point for this is the ideal position for the patient should be that the patient is sitting on a bed with his legs dangling freely. So the muscles will also be relaxed in that case. Here I will demonstrate, but ideally the leg should be dangling. So this is the knee joint, and this is the patella of the patient. So I will use my thumbs. I will keep my thumbs on the head, the patella, and the knee is stabilized. Now I will go posteriorly and I will locate the head of the fibula. Just below is the neck of the fibula where I will perform rolling action movement. So this is one of the few nerves which you can always palpate simultaneously. Simultaneous palpation is always better.
Yeah. Can you show the side of the fibula? Little in front.
There is a bony prominence here, right here, and just behind, just below. This is the where you will find the head of the fibula, located on the lateral aspect, which you will feel clearly as a bony prominence. So the next nerve after this nerve, we move on to the posterior aspect of our lower limb, is called the sural nerve. The sural nerve is located in the posterior aspect near our calf basically. So to palpate it, we have to find the meeting point. From upward we will see the 2 bellies of gastrocnemius, and from below it will continue as a tendo Achilles. So the point where the 2 bellies of gastrocnemius meet and continues as a tendo Achilles is where we palpate for the sural nerve. The patient can be sitting, standing, or even lying down for this examination. So here I will ask my friend Tejas to please stand up. And if you can look that way, please. So this is where the bellies of gastrocnemius will be located, and this will move on to continue as the tendo-Achilles right down to your ankle. So the sural nerve is located somewhere here. You palpate it by rolling action movement using your thumb. The bellies of gastrocnemius can be easily felt as the bulk of the calf. So you go downwards the bulk, and that's where you will palpate for the sural nerve. Moving on, the next nerve which we will palpate is called the posterior tibial nerve. The posterior tibial nerve is located just behind and below the medial malleolus, and it is located between the medial malleolus and the tendo-Achilles. So the way to palpate it is, I will ask the patient to keep the foot on the opposite knee in this position, and I will ask the patient to relax. I will ask him to extend his foot completely. After extension, this is the medial malleolus. I will go behind and slightly below, and this is located between the medial malleolus and this is the tendo-Achilles. So over here is where we will palpate for the medial nerve using a rolling action movement of your finger. Similarly, you can do for the opposite side as well. The last nerve which we will palpate is called the anterior tibial nerve. The anterior tibial nerve is located on the dorsum of your foot. You have to locate it by asking the patient to extend his great toe. So I will ask Tejas to please, if you can keep your foot on the stool. So this is the dorsal aspect of the foot, and I will ask Tejas to please extend the toe. Rest fingers will relax and only toe will get extended. So this is the tendon of extensor hallucis longus. So after making the tendon of extensor hallucis longus prominent, I will go slightly lateral to it, and we will also palpate for the dorsalis pedis artery. So right between the tendon of extensor hallucis longus and the dorsalis pedis artery is where you will get the anterior tibial nerve. So so the dorsalis pedis artery, on palpation I will see that it is located right here, and the tendon of extensor hallucis longus is here. So this is where I will palpate for the anterior tibial nerve. Yes, thank you. So these were all the nerves of which we palpate in a case of leprosy. We covered the head, neck, face region, the upper extremities and the lower extremities as well.
Mahika, can you enumerate once again which were the nerves which have a motor as well as sensory supply, and which are the nerves which have only sensory supply? Motor and sensory supply, let's see again. Supranuclear, supraorbital, motor and sensory. Facial, motor supply. Then
And sensory as well.
and this supraorbital is again motor sensory. Radial, ulnar, medial all have motor and sensory
Motor and
supply.
sensory.
Only sensory supply is
The radial cutaneous nerve.
cutaneous nerve.
Yes, ma'am.
and the greater orbicular nerve.
Yes, ma'am.
Then in the lower limb, both lateral popliteal, posterior tibial,
Anterior tibial.
anterior tibial have motor and sensory supply.
Both. Yes, ma'am.
But sural nerve has
Only motor supply.
only sensory supply. Sural is the only sensory.
Yes, ma'am. It supplies the foot. Yes,
Only
ma'am.
the sensory supply. So you should know which nerves are having only sensory supply and which nerves are having motor and sensory supply. Along with this, you should know which muscles they are supplying, so that you should know the action of those muscles and how to grade the power of those muscles. You should be able to grade the power of these muscles. Sensory distribution of the nerves you should know. This is very important from the leprosy point of view, as well as you people may get a short case on peripheral nerves. So you should be prepared how to palpate the nerves. You should know the motor supply, you should know the sensory supply, and you should know the palpation of the nerve, right? Last thing which is remaining is in leprosy is the neuro. So last thing which is important in leprosy is the grading of neuritis. So there are 4 grades starting from 0, then 1, 2 and 3. So in grade 0, that means there is no pain to the patient while palpating. Even if you ask, there is no pain. Grade 1 is there is slight amount of pain, but the patient will complain only if asked. If the patient is asked whether the patient is having pain, then only he or she will say that there is some amount of pain. That is grade 1. Grade 2 is if while palpating the patient winces. That is grade 2. And grade 3 is the patient will withdraw the limb while palpating. That means that is severe grade of neuritis, because if you don't treat neuritis at time, the patient can land up with permanent disability of that part. So it is very, very important to treat the neuritis of leprosy well in time and to diagnose well in time. So thank you all for the patient listening, and I hope you understand the palpation of this peripheral nerves, and I hope that you try to palpate the nerves on your friends. Okay? If you have any queries and if you have any problem palpating the nerve, you can visit the scene OPD whenever you join back to the college. Okay, bye for now.
Thank you.